and welcome to episode 24 of season 3 of Eat This, Drink That with the food man, Ali Khan, and our beverage expert, Steve Greer, and I'm Ryan Crosby. And let's get on with this. Ali, what's your Eat This for today?
This says 24
It
in
says
my
42.
All right. Or is it 42? Avocado tomatillo salsa.
Yes.
This salsa is the salsa to put on carnitas. It is the salsa to put on carne asada. And I want to thank Tire Shop Taqueria in Los Angeles and LA Taco because I kept seeing these posts of their steak tacos with a layer of guac, a mound of chopped up carne asada steak, and then this green salsa. And I was like, that looks good. I should try it. And now, it's my gold standard. Nice. So, this is how we're going to do it. We need tomatillos. We've got tomatillos. We need avocado. And we need some other stuff, too. So,
Ali, what's a tomatillo?
Wait. Okay, cool. So, back into it. Avocado, tomatillo, salsa. This is the tomatillo.
Okay.
It's like a tomato, but it's not. It's not exactly a tomato. They're green. They usually have a husk when you buy them in the supermarket. What I did is I take the husk, peel it. There's like a sticky layer underneath it. Just wash it. And then you got these little tomatillos here.
Awesome.
This little guy here is responsible for half the salsas you get at a taqueria, right? You can chop them up and make a salsa with them raw. You can boil them. You can broil them. You can grill them. I've smoked them. I've done a lot of it. In making this salsa, I actually found, I used to go crazy. I used to put this on the grill, smoke it, put it in a bowl with cellophane, let it sit in the fridge. The smoke flavor would really carry over. I would blitz it, mix it with chipotles, do all this stuff. Now I do it raw. It is the intensity you get from it is amazing. So let's just get into it.
Awesome.
All I'm going to do is put these in the blender. These aren't too big. I'm using about a half pound of tomatillos. What I'm doing is I'm just quartering them. Okay.
Are they always green?
What's that?
Are they always green?
Yep, tomatillos are all. I've never grown them. I've never seen them out in the wilds. But when I go to the supermarket, they're always green. They're always in that paper.
Because you mentioned it being a standard in the salsas, and then so I think most people would think salsas are red. So
right. Yeah. So at the taco truck, you're gonna see red and you're gonna see green. You're gonna see super dark colors too, and all of that's a reflection on: is it a red tomato?
Gotcha.
Is it a green tomatillo? Has the salsa been cooked? So you could almost break salsas down into raw and cooked varieties as well. Everyone knows what pico de gallo is. That's like the stuff you get with the chips. That's like your classic raw salsa.
And that's like
just
chunky. That's cubed tomatoes.
Exactly.
Basically.
So pico de gallo
Right.
is cubed tomatoes, diced onion, diced jalapeno or serrano, sometimes with the seeds, sometimes not, a little lime juice, some salt, maybe a little cilantro, right? It's kind of like that, chips, guac, margaritas.
Yes.
Right? That's kind of like the definition of what you get, the obligatory amuse-bouche at your Mexican or even Tex-Mex restaurant. All right, so we got half a pound of tomatillos in there. Now we're going to bring a little heat. Kind of a lot. This is a serrano pepper. It's a big guy, not to be confused with the jalapeno. Serranos pack a ton of heat. Growing up, my parents would use these a lot in Indian cooking as well. They got a lot of fire in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break this down. Again, kind of like we've seen in the past, when I use a blender, the blender is going to do a lot of the work. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to give all this stuff a rough chop.
Do you cut out the seeds and the ribs, or are you including everything? You're going full fire.
Heck no.
Okay.
So I'm breaking them down to pieces about that size.
Okay.
I don't mind handling peppers like this. If this was a habanero, I would have pre-chopped this and I would have washed my hands 50 times in dishwashing liquid because that heat carries over. You could use
Yeah,
gloves
you don't want to rub your eyes after.
or go to the bathroom. I've done that too.
I always use gloves with almost all peppers outside of
I'm too
jalapenos.
klutzy. So that's the seeds. I'm putting all that in there.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
look, here's the thing. This is my rule about salsa, right? I mean, 9 out of 10 times when I'm making salsa, actually 9.5 out of 10 times, I'm not making it for chips. If you're making salsa for chips, you really don't want something that's spicy because think about it. You're basically just eating the salsa with a spoon.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Spicy salsa is going to work well with more food in your bite. You know what I mean? So tamales, bring on the heat. Big meaty taco, burrito, bring on the heat. Or whatever plate of food.
Yeah.
So I don't mind having a hotter salsa if I know I'm not just going to give it to people in a bowl with some chips and go, oh, I hope you like that. So we got our serrano in there. Now I've got some diced white onion. I'm going to get about a quarter cup of onion in here. So I pull a lot of my recipes from the internet. I have to get through the mom blogs because they just don't bring the flavors I'm looking for. I'm looking for the flavors of the taco truck.
Yeah.
I found a website called Mexico in My Kitchen, which is awesome. And that's where I kind of pulled my more trusted salsas from.
Mexico in My Kitchen.
What's that?
It's called Mexico in My Kitchen.
Mexico in My Kitchen, yes. So I was making I built my sauce out of that, and one time, I've done it so many times, I was just kind of moving real fast, and I forgot the onion. Critical mistake.
Wow.
Critical. Okay.
Now, there are recipes that don't call for onion. You gotta have the onion in here. I think it's absolutely critical.
Okay.
So is this. Our bold chilies. Our bold chilies are how any super fiery salsa at the taco truck or the carniceria get hot. This is just pure, this just adds heat. Dare I say it almost adds less flavor and more heat. Also gives it a great red speck. In case you're wondering, this is gonna be a spicy salsa. Now we are going to add some chopped cilantro. This is leaves and a little bit of stem. This is about a quarter cup. Okay. Juice of half a lime. Now, tomatillos are tangy. I'm just going to squeeze it. Tomatillos are tangy. So sometimes I'm like, do I really need lime? Do I need vinegar if I wanted to add acidity from vinegar? I have found that I enjoy adding lime because I think lime loves avocado, and I think avocado loves lime. Now, we are making tomatillo avocado salsa, but one thing I found is a little avocado goes a long way.
Okay.
The first time I made this, I totally screwed it up because I added, for me, way too much avocado.
Okay.
It didn't need that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a raw tomatillo salsa first and then add a little bit of avocado till I get it to the consistency I'm looking for.
Ali, let me backtrack a tiny bit for those.
Yeah.
What were the red flaky things called? Are those arbols? Is that what you said?
Oh, yeah, I will show you. Oh, they're buried in there. There are bowl chilies. They're the tiny little red chilies. You can
And you
find
put you put like what, 4 or so in there?
Three
Okay.
are bowls.
Would that
one
be-
whole serrano.
Would that be something people could sort of add to taste? Maybe throw one in, blend it
Yeah,
up,
I mean-
maybe toss another one in there.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. You know, I literally made a batch with this same serrano. I got 2 of these yesterday.
Okay.
Serranos, like when you buy fresh peppers, the heat can change a little bit. No 2 jalapenos necessarily the same. This serrano packs some heat. So yesterday, I think I put about 4 or 5 arbols. So today I'm doing 3.
Okay.
I think a good rule of thumb is you can't really take away. You can only add.
Okay.
Go
All right.
ahead and add some in there, just speaking generally. And then if you want to add a little more heat without sacrificing the texture of your salsa, because you don't want to just blitz this to Kingdom Come unless you're going for that. I like a little bit of chunkiness in there.
Oh, I see. Right.
Take
Good
some
point.
more bowl, cut it up with some scissors, or with a little knife. That way you can add a little more heat without having to
Over-blend it.
emulsify everything else in
Gotcha.
here.
That's a good tip. Okay.
You could use cayenne pepper too, a powder. I just think you get a little more flavor out of a dried chili versus a pre-ground powder.
Awesome.
And we also need to add a little salt.
Did you
So
get this recipe off of Mexico in My Kitchen or through LA Taco?
No, my search query started because of an image through LA Taco, right? Okay. But then Mexico in My Kitchen is usually my reference document for like, okay, this looks pretty legit. I actually have this really cool book called this. By the way, I'm using about 1/8 of a teaspoon of a kosher salt. I always use a 1/4 teaspoon all the time, and just kind of work off that as far as salt goes. Because again, you really can't take away; you can only add. Okay. Now, my rule for the blender: start low. We start low, and we're just gonna let that grinder up. And you know, some of these blenders like mine.
Pull the blender into the shot a little bit.
Yeah. There we go. Ooh, who's that?
There it is.
Look at that guy go. I like to go low in the beginning. Let it all start to build up. You know, it's starting to break down. Because I quartered those tomatillos, it's easier for them to break down than had I put them in whole, you know. But at the same time, I don't want it to be a puree. Right. I mean, that's a personal choice,
you want it
right?
Chunky.
I like a little bit of chunk in there too, you know. But at the same time, I want to be able to spoon it over my taco. Right. That's what I'm going for, right? And you know, I think with salsas too, look, this stuff's cheap, you guys. I mean, this does not cost a lot of money. Tomatillos are freaking cheap. I used a ½ pound. I don't want to do the math. I don't know, like 50 cents, $1. I don't know. The arbolados, like you buy a big bag for a couple bucks. They last for years because it's a dried chili. Serranos, I always buy Serranos for what I use. Every time at the grocery store, I do a fail at the checkout line because the weight's so little. Right. Because I don't buy like a ton, and they're so cheap. They're like, why are you buying 10 cents of stuff, sir? I'm like, because I only need so many. Yeah. I don't need that many habaneros. It's just the way it goes. All right, so you can see this is just in a 1. See, it's already gotten kind of liquidy. Yep. Right? Yep. Now we're going to turn her up a little bit. And then as that goes a little bit more, it starts to get a little more liquidy. And on its own, what's kind of cool is it'll pull some of the stuff that hit the side a little bit. Now, I've got a tool that'll push down. I'm just like this. Hey, one less thing to wash in the sink, you know?
What is that blender, by the way?
It's a Vitamix, guys. You know what? Some people will say, do I need to spend $500 on a blender? This is almost, not quite 10 years old, but close.
Nice.
And it's a beast, and I would buy it again in a heartbeat. Okay. In all honesty. If there's another one out there, that's great. To me, I'm like, if I bought something and it works for 10 years, how much time have I saved not having to replace it? You know? Yeah. Not getting any younger. It's the truth.
It's really cool.
All right, so we're going to go in here. Okay. So there's a little arbol in there. Oh, there he is. He went down. He went down. You see him?
Yeah.
All right. So let me see. We're at a 5 right now. So that's still, when it's spinning like that, it's still pretty chunky. Those solids are still getting kind of tossed around. But we're getting close where I can actually taste it. See that cilantro? You know, you just kind of look at it and you're like, yep, we're getting there. That's looking like what I want to see on my taco. Yeah, there we go. You can still see some of those red chilies. Still kind of chunky. All right. We're going to taste.
Okay.
It's time for a little taste.
So you're tasting it before the avo is being added.
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Just the vapor. That vapor.
How hot is it?
It's freaking delicious. Yeah. Guys, this is... I wish I had some fried eggs right now. You know, like it's so...
I just saw about 5 recipes on the Mexico in My Kitchen that should have this.
So that, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's liquidy, but it's still sitting on the spoon. Yeah. You can see that, right? Yeah. That's good. It's still got a little ways before... I mean, it's still kind of chunky. It's almost like a gazpacho right now. but we have to get the avocado in there, and that's got to blitz. So on that note, I've got. I mean, this was not a big avocado, right? Small guy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going for just a sliver to add in there.
Is the other half already in there?
No. I used the other half because I made a quick little batch of guac. Actually, it's right here. So I have some guac to layer for my taco.
Okay.
So I used half an avocado, or at least quarter of an avocado for that. And I'm adding literally, this is my second sliver.
Okay.
Right? That's it. Think about it. Just remember this. This was a half pound of tomatillos. A half pound, right? So I've got my avocado in there and making sure we are at variable.
Way less than I expected you to add.
How long will this last with all these spice ingredients?
It's a raw salsa. Every time I consult recipes and stuff, they'll always say like 3 days in the fridge. You know what? On the real, and I'm not a food scientist, I'll keep this stuff for like freaking a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'm usually not losing it.
Okay.
And to your point, just do this. Like, make a small batch. You know, this isn't going to be that much.
Right.
You know? You don't want to keep it around forever. It's also raw. You know? Like, if it was a cooked salsa, those can last a little bit longer. But unless you're having a party, I wouldn't make a big batch, depending on how big your household is, I guess, right? You can zip that up a little more. You can see it getting a little more pale. And this is kind of the thing, you know? It's like, it really is like getting it to where every time I get in there, it's like the vapors are strong. It's the Serrano, too. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty. I'm gonna show you guys.
So the heat, is hitting you as soon as you take that lid off.
Oh yeah, it really is. So it's still right now more tomatillo than avocado, right? So I'm just gonna keep going a little bit. This is a smaller avocado. Like I said, I've overwhelmed these, and you know a lot of times these recipes they'll say use a half of a medium. That's so subjective.
Yeah.
Avocados can get all kinds of size.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I find myself perhaps adding a little bit more than I normally would.
And remind me, you're going to have guacamole on the bottom, then the steak, and then the salsa. So you really don't want too much avocado flavor in the salsa anyway, right?
Yeah, well, this is the thing is it's avocados, even if you puree it, when you add too much, all of a sudden you're like, hey, am I at a health joint having a milkshake?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's like you want the avocado in there, but it's still a tomatillo-driven salsa. Okay. It's just creamy. It's just creamy. That, to me, is the magic with what you're going for. All right, we're going to let this rip. And it goes. You can see, like, you know, the more you add, that intensity of green changes.
And that's a really good point. With the avocado, you're adding texture to the salsa.
Yeah, you're adding fat, and you're see now, dudes. Now, you know.
Beautiful.
See, this is the key. That's clutch because it's still spicy. It's still here. You see it. It's still spicy. It's still tangy, but it sits different. It sits heavier in the spoon because it's got that avocado in there. That is
killer.
Yeah.
All right.
This is begging for carnitas. So, yeah, like I said, it's just got enough fat in there. Now, we got our salsa.
I'm ready for a taco.
It's good. It's good. I got a pan heated up. So I'm going to get a tortilla on there. Okay. And then I have some carne asada that I made the night before.
Okay.
Need that. I'll pull it out of the pan. Alrighty. Just gonna go for it. Whew.
I love the red.
Yeah, so this was a flank steak that it really it did come out quite rare. And that's actually the outside. If you see the middle, that's more of a medium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is actually I love rare steak, but I'll tell you, I think for a steak taco, it really is nice to have it medium. You get you're getting more caramelization, especially if you chop it up and griddle it in the pan. It's so crazy though. This was grass fed beef. It almost looks like corned beef, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think that's from the diet, literally. Okay, tortilla, toasted. Oh, that's hot. That's hot. That's hot and ready to go.
All right.
Give it one more second on that side. I'm also going to do this. Grab my tongs right here. Just to kind of give it a little bit of zip and zing. I'm going to toss this. Just kind of let that caramelize a little bit. Get that steak a little bit crisp.
I am so hungry right now.
Yeah, this is going to be a good taco. All right. Okay. Now, and again, this is coming from the Tire Shop Taqueria, which I know both Eater and LA Taco have considered kind of the cardinal. So again, we're doing a layer of guac right at the bottom. We're going to be nice and generous here. Okay.
Killer. Looks so good.
But this is inspired from Tire Shop Taqueria in LA, South LA. So it's a legit. And what's really dope about doing tacos at home? Look, I love taco trucks, but you need to go to a restaurant to get something like that.
Yeah, that
You know
amount
what I
of
mean?
meat.
This is like
Yeah.
marinated carne asada. I like to do it rare. Even when I'm cooking it right off the grill, sometimes I'll chop it up, put it on a flat top just to kind of crisp it up. And then, my friends, we're going to hit it with this. Give you a nice shot of that.
You know, it's funny. I feel like I read an article where they were saying that this salsa that you made today is often misadvertised as an avocado salsa. Have you heard that, Ali?
No. And
Okay.
I believe it because as I've made this stuff, look, I mean, avocados are expensive.
Right.
I've heard things about how people are like making this without avocado to cut corners or whatever.
Right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I
Anyways.
just think that this is freaking tastier with a little bit less because I want all that heat in there too.
Yeah.
The green is just nuclear.
Yeah.
That looks so good.
And, it's fun. You can see why. I mean, look, you got the redness, the reddish hue of the steak. You've almost got the 2 hits of green, the guac there, and then again, you can tell how pale the guac is compared to the more intense green of that salsa. I mean,
Killer. It looks killer.
it's drippy too. It's easy. It's I got
So good.
Yeah, a lot of spice, a lot of cream. It just works so well. I think about when I first moved to California and I go to a sandwich place and I order a roast beef. Someone's like, you should get avocado on that. I never had avocado before. Avocado and beef is magical together.
Wow.
And there's something really just like kind of, it really honors the steak a bit, because it doesn't cover up the beefy flavor.
Right.
Like a salsa can do. So, yeah.
I mean, this is like a whole nother episode, Ali, but do you have heat in your guacamole?
I don't
Okay.
because guac's for my kid.
Oh, okay. But that
Guac
makes
is
sense.
for my
That's
kid.
why, because some people make a spicy guac, so your taco could potentially be redundant, right? But you got the guac is the creamy part. The tomatillo salsa is bringing the heat.
Mm-hmm. And it really is. It's strong. But, again, there's kind of a nice balance. But I mean, spicy guac should never be too overwhelming because I think that avocado is so creamy and fatty that you're kind of, you're balancing that out a little bit.
Yeah.
But, there's something about this, like, and yes, I think you could always add a red salsa in there too, especially something red and smoky to kind of like, you've got something creamy, tangy, vibrant, spicy. You could always add a red smoky salsa, just for contrast, especially with the guac in there too. But there's something I remember going to my taco stand and asking the lady, like, what's the best with carnitas? And she said, go for the creamy green,
Wow.
And it's just a really, there's a lot of cool green hot sauces out there. In a future episode, we'll do my jalapeno salsa, which is just jalapeno blitzed with canola oil and garlic.
Yes.
Awesome. It's delicious. But that's a hot sauce. This is an actual sauce. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
This is great.
Anything on a turkey sandwich. You know what I mean? It's not just for tacos too.
Ryan, you need to drive up to Tiger Shop like now.
I know, right? I'm
What's
pretty.
Tiger Shop?
I'm pretty close.
What's the name of the taco stand?
I think it's Tire Shop.
Yeah.
It's Tire Shop.
I thought you were saying Tiger, and I was like, that's a weird name for a taco truck.
That sounds great.
No, because I think it's at a Tire Shop parking lot, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And from what I read back when, they're one of the few places that was cooking over like mesquite charcoal.
Okay.
Which is hard to do.
Well, thank you, Ali. You
Yeah.
knocked it out of the park. We ready to wrap up episode 24?
That was a good one. It's a good taco. It's a
Ali
really
with
good taco.
Tomatillo. And what is this called again? This is called tomatillo.
Avocado tomatillo salsa.
Avocado tomatillo salsa.
AKA what you should be putting on your carne asada.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. We're going to sign out. See you soon.
See you guys. Tired.
It's so funny. I thought this would be shorter because I thought the recipe was so it's so nothing to me.
I don't. Yeah. Hey.